with the Cottage Rose stamp set bundle, which is one of the pretty bundles from the current annual catalog that just started, I guess it was a couple weeks ago in early May. And it's one of my favorite bundles. It's actually, I don't know, like I said, I think it's really pretty. I see I need to scooch my screen a little bit here. Not my screen, but my, my, the center things up here are hopefully a little bit better. And okay, I think that looks a little better. So, all right. So one of the prettier bundles in the catalog. So this is the card that I made with it. Again, it's pretty, I don't know, kind of neutral. The designer series paper actually that coordinates with it, there's a whole suite of products, and the designer series paper that coordinates with it is kind of a little more subtle, lots of neutral colors in it, and it's really pretty. So I kind of went with that same color palette, and so that's what we're doing today. All right, so this is the stamp set. Again, it's called Cottage Rose, and it's got some pretty sentiments in it, some beautiful flower images in it. Love the greenery images in it as well. So again, then we've got our die set, which is called the Cottage Flowers dies, and this actually coordinates with the stamped images. So this one cuts out your larger image. This one cuts out the leaves. This one actually will cut out these three stamped images. So it stamps, you stamp them kind of as a group, and then you can die cut them with this die. And what else? And this one actually will cut out that image. So this larger die does cut out a couple of things that it may not necessarily look like it does initially. So all right, so again, this is the stamp set. These are the pretty dies. They are available as a bundle in the annual catalog. So that means that you save 10% if you get them together and use the bundle pricing on or bundle item number on them. So, all right. Hey, I see Jeannie's here, and Pamela, and Jean, and Bonnie. So thanks so much for hopping in. I appreciate y'all being here. So it is such a pretty bundle, isn't it, Jeannie? It's one of my favorite ones. So, and yeah, we played with it. We did a little tutorial bundle with it for this month, and it's a good one. So, hey, Judy, it is a pretty set. So a couple of the other things that I used on this card is I did use the stitched rectangle dies. So I used the smallest of the narrow rectangles for my sentiment. And then the one that is the fourth largest, which is not quite the middle. I guess it's, I don't know, the lower half of the middle, I guess. So the fourth smallest die to cut out a little piece here on the background of the card. All right, so let me set those aside. And then another thing that I used is the Time War Type 3D embossing folder, which this is what I used to emboss the background of the card. So that's it for the things that I used. Let me set all this mess aside. Hey, Karen, thanks for hopping in, and Bree is here as well. So a couple things to know. I have announced my product shares, my designer series paper shares from the upcoming mini catalog, which I can't even believe we have another mini catalog starting here like soon. So, oh, Meryl, you need to get the set. It's really pretty. So in the back, yeah, the embossing folder is a good one too, just a nice subtle background on it. So hey, Pam, thanks for hopping in. So designer series paper shares, I am offering a paper share from the upcoming catalog. I will be ordering on July 1st, and I'll be cutting everything up and sending it back out to anyone who joins my share just as quickly as I can. I will try to get them out sometime early that next week. So with the holiday being in there, shipping of course will be a little delayed, but hopefully I'll get them out to you very quickly. So if you haven't joined a share before, don't know what those are, it's basically you just get a sampling of all of the new designer series papers in the upcoming catalog. So you get a 6x6 or a 6x12 piece of the designer series papers, depending on what share you sign up for. And so it's a great deal. You get a nice working sample, get to see all the pretty things, and then you can decide from there what you want to get for full packs. So, all right. I know, Ruth Ann, it's terrible. Yes, the new catalog coming out has definitely been hard on the pocketbook. So, all right, Stampin' Up! Has a couple things going on as well. Hey, Barbara, thanks for hopping in. We've got the Kits Collection, buy one, get one 50% off sale going on through the month of June. They are all out in the online store. If you go to the Kits Collection in the online store, you can see what is available. And again, they're all buy one, get one 50% off. And the discount is automatically applied when you put the second kit in your cart, and then they actually are doing a strange thing. They're actually giving you the 50% off the higher priced kit. So if you have kits that are two different prices, you actually get the discount off the higher priced one, which is pretty rare when you do a buy one, get one. Anyhow, if you have questions about that, let me know. It's also posted on my blog today, which is stampwithamyk.com, so you can check out the details. And I forgot to say the details for my product share are also out on my blog, and in the campsite link that I will add in this video when I get done with it. So let's see, last thing, the January to June 2022 mini catalog retiring items and sale is going on now through the end of June. All the products, including the stamp sets, are available while supplies last. There are several things that are on sale for up to 50% off. So all of the retiring things, make sure you're getting out there and getting those ordered. So if you haven't put in your final order for that catalog, get busy and get it done. All right, again, the details are on my blog, and it's linked up to the online store, so you can definitely go take a peek. Hey Karen, thanks for hopping in. All right, so I did a couple of things ahead of time. I try to do some of the more boring work ahead of time, so you don't have to sit and watch me do that. But I did emboss a piece of basic white cardstock with the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. Hi Gwen, thanks for joining today. And again, this is cut to 3 7/8 by about 5 1/8. And all the details for this will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. And the post will go live around 8 o'clock in the morning. So you'll be able to see all the details then. Until then, I guess you'll just have to listen and hope that I say the right numbers, because sometimes I don't always, when I'm talking and stamping, I don't know, I mess up the numbers. All right, soft suede is the ink that I'm using here, and I've got one of the blending brushes, and I'm just doing really kind of lightly brushing it across the edges. I just wanted to give it a little bit of a vintage look. I don't want it to be really evenly inked or anything like that. Just sort of want to get a little ink, mainly focusing it along the edges and a little bit swiping it across as well. Again, soft suede ink and a blending brush. So very easy so far. Hey Penny, thanks so much. I appreciate that. All right, so let me set that aside, and I've got crumb cake cardstock, and this is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm gonna put a little Stampin' seal, whoop, if I can get it started, that is, a little Stampin' seal out here on this panel of cardstock. And I'm putting the Stampin' seal on the background panel rather than the embossed panel, because sometimes I get a little heavy-handed and I smash my embossing if I try to put the Stampin' seal on it and put the adhesive on the embossed part, and then I end up smushing the embossing. So, all right, just adhered that together. Then I did a little bit of cutting ahead as well. This is about 1 3/4 inches by about 5 1/8 tall. And this is from the beautiful Abigail Rose Designer Series paper pack. The Designer Series paper is part of the suite. And I actually love this side so much. I don't know, it's such pretty paper. It's hard to decide which one to stick it down to. So why did I ink it after I embossed it? Just to give it a vintage look, that's all. I just wanted a little different look rather than just a plain white background. I wanted to give it a little inked look, so that's the only reason. So, all right, so I've got, again, this is cut to about 1 3/4 inches by about 5 1/8, and I'm just adhering it here to the card front. So why not ink first? The reason that I inked it afterwards is because, as you can see, the embossing raises it a little bit, and you get a little bit darker ink on the embossed image, where if you just put it on first on the paper, then it would have not been as dark on the embossed areas. So again, it just gives it a little bit more of a, I don't know, textured look when you do it that way around. So, all right, I've got Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm putting those on. There we go, just almost had one stick to my finger and not to the paper. Putting those on the back of it, and we're going to stick this on the crumb cake card base. Picking my little Stampin' Dimensional backs off. And I do chop my Stampin' Dimensionals in half, partly because I'm cheap, and partly because I actually like the size of the half ones better than the whole ones. So, and it took me a little minute to get used to using the whole ones, or the half ones, but now that I do, I feel like it's just so wasteful if I use a whole one. So I'm forever using the half ones. All right, I've got another piece of the Abigail Rose Designer Series paper that I cut with the 4th from the smallest, which I guess I can pull those over here, of the stitched rectangle dies. So again, it's this one that I used to die cut the Designer Series paper. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to stick it roughly center on the card front. And again, you know, since it's going to be layered over the top, if it's not precisely center, it's okay. So, all right. Oh, that's right. I keep forgetting I'm not cheap. I'm frugal. That's Karen tells me that all the time too, and I'm like, I don't know, it's just cheap. So, all right. So I've got soft suede ink, and this is the large flower image from the Cottage Rose stamp set, and I'm just going to ink that up here, give it a good inking. And normally when I'm stamping by myself, I don't hold my ink pad up like this. I usually have the ink pad on the table, but I have found that when I do that on a video, because my the little tripod that I have my phone held on is actually sitting on the table. If I sort of tap on my ink pad, then the whole thing starts shaking, and then you all get seasick, and nobody wants that. So, and I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment while we're at it, because I think I can get them both die cut at the same time. So I've got the Happy Birthday sentiment from the Cottage Rose stamp set. And I probably should put it on here a little bit. So, you know, I'm trying. Let me get another piece. I was trying to decide if I could fit them both on one. I thought I could, and then I had a moment of, I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut that right. All right, so again, basic white cardstock. Hey, Jill. Thanks. Okay, Stampin' with Jill. Okay, thanks for hopping in. Glad that you're here. So, all right, so I have got this stamped as well. It's soft suede ink on basic white cardstock. And then I'm going to go back to my flower image, and I'm actually going to grab another blending brush. This is a different one that I used on the soft suede, so I'm trying not to mix up my colors too much on the blending brushes. And then I have got Blushing Bride ink. And again, Blushing Bride is the color in the back of the stripes on the little background here on both of these pieces. So that's where I picked up that color from. And I'm just going to take a blending brush and just brush it over the center of the flower. And again, it's okay if it gets a little bit off the edges of the flower, gets onto the leaves. It's all okay, because again, we're just kind of going for a lightly colored look and a super easy to do colored look, because yeah, it's, like I said, better than sitting and coloring it all individually. If you just take a blending brush and swirl it over a couple times, then it's all done. All right, let me grab a couple of the dies here. So again, we've got the larger die from the Cottage Flowers dies, which is the coordinating die set, and I'm going to be die cutting that. And then I've got my little stitched rectangle die, the smaller one, and we're going to die cut the sentiment. So I'm going to go run these through the die cutting machine off to my left here in just a second. I'll see if I can cut them both at once. I don't know. Sometimes when I try to do that, it ends up being a total disaster. So hopefully y'all are enjoying your Friday. It's been, it's kind of a nice day here in New Jersey. It's not too hot, not too cold. And it's actually graduation day for my 8th grader. So she's graduating from middle school this afternoon. She's very excited about it. It's making me feel old, because that means next year I'll have 2 kids in high school, which I don't know how that happened. So I guess that does mean I'm officially old. So, all right, so let me get these scraps out of the way here. And I've got my 2 die cut images, and then we're just going to take those and stick those on the card front with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So, all right, a few of them here on the back of the rose, and then I was getting ready to stick it right on top of the other card. That is not the card I wanted to put that on. So, all right, let me get this peeled off the back here. And we'll stick this onto the card front, kind of at a little bit of an angle, a little bit up. And then I'm going to come back in with my sentiment and put it down here, but I'm going to be careful where I put my Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to put them sort of on the outside edges, because I'm going to layer it over the bottom of the flower, and I want to make sure that I don't have a weird lump in the middle of my sentiment with a Stampin' Dimensional stuck in a spot where I don't want it. So let me go ahead and stick the little Stampin' Dimensionals out on the edges here. And I actually will probably go ahead and put just a little touch of Stampin' Seal here, sort of in the center of the die cut, so that it hopefully will stick to the flower here, which it should if I've placed it somewhat correctly, and hopefully I did. And then, whoop, I think we're going to scooch that over just a little bit. All right, there we go. So we've got the card front almost done. Just have to add a couple of embellishments. Not old, wait until your oldest is the age. Oh, Yeah, I don't know. I'm telling you, I feel old. There are days when I feel a lot older. So, well, I'm glad that you just got this bundle. It's really pretty and you're going to have a lot of fun using it. So, all right, we've got some rustic metallic adhesive back dots, and I'm going to add a couple of those here to the card front. So I'm just going to stick one here. Whoop, maybe. There we go. Stay. Okay. And stick the other one right next to it. I don't know why it's sticking to the tool here and not to the paper. I guess. I don't know. I have lotion on my hands, which I know makes things stick strangely. So that's probably what it is. All right, so that is it for the card front. So super simple. Again, just a little bit of stamping, a little bit of blending with a blending brush, and the card is done. So the layering is really easy. The Designer Series paper makes it super simple. So, and that's exactly where I pulled the colors from. And I agree, Teresa, I love the colors together. So it's beautiful, beautiful. Love that designer paper pack. All right, on the inside of the card, I'm going to keep it also very simple. So I've got, again, the soft suede ink, and I've got the larger flower image again, inking that up with soft suede. And I'm just going to stick it here and stamp it is what I meant to say, along the edge of the paper. And again, I'm going to do the same thing with the blending brush, where I'm just going to add a little bit of ink with my Blushing Bride. I don't know, the ink is a little bit wet probably, but I did get a little bit, kind of almost a shadow of soft suede ink around the edge of the pink, and I actually thought it kind of added a little bit to it, so I didn't think it looked terrible. So just know that when you're using the inks together, you may end up with it picking up a little bit of your background ink as well and kind of mixing everything together. And like I said, I thought it just gave it a little bit more of a vintage look, and I liked it, so I went ahead with it. If you don't like that, what you can do is probably wait a little bit longer or use a heat tool and maybe heat set it, and that will probably help. I don't know that it'll completely get rid of that, but it will probably help with it not blending quite so much together. So it just depends on the look that you want for your card. All right, I'm using a little Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to be putting this inside the card base. And again, I probably forgot to say the card base is cut to 5.5 by 8.5 and scored at 4.25 for this card. My original card, it's a top fold card, so that one is cut to 4.25 by 11 and scored at 5.5. So one of them opens at the top, one of them opens on the side, so whichever you prefer. I usually prefer the top fold cards, but I know not everyone does, so I just like to show you that you can do most cards either way. So, all right, that's all that I have for you today. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. I can't even believe that school is out. At least for my younger one, school is out. The older one's got another week or so left. But yeah, summer is here. So have a great rest of your weekend. We'll chat with you all. I'll plan to be back live on my Facebook page around 2 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday, and then back here live around 2 o'clock Eastern time next week, Friday. Chat with you all soon.